Hello and welcome. Welcome to the Shamanic Yoga Sister Circle. I'm so happy that you are here with me. So, what I want to talk to you a little bit about is Shamanic Yoga. What is it and how can it help you? So, I'm Lilith, I'm the creator of Shamanic Yoga, and what my work is really about is connecting you to who you really are and making sure that you are at peace with yourself. And all of that I do with a self-care process that I have developed that really honors and nourishes all of who we are as women, body, mind, heart, and soul. But before I go more into that, I want to tell you a little bit about how shamanic yoga actually, how I actually created it and why I created it and why I combine yoga and shamanism. As I hear that question a lot because it seems like all of both of these old traditions, healing traditions and ways of being seem so complete in themselves. So why combine them? So I want to tell you all about that now. So, when I started yoga 10 years ago, it was really a revelation because I learned for the first time to just be. I'd never really encountered that whole concept before, and it was clear to me from the beginning that this is what I had been missing. And I just loved how it felt to consciously move my body. It felt like I was really reconnecting to my body for the first time in a long time. Or maybe, maybe since I was a kid. And what I also loved yoga for was breathing consciously. Wow, I was like, this is amazing. Um, but there was something that I was really missing. And that came up for me when I was meditating. So it took me a long time to actually be able to calm my thoughts enough to feel like meditation was actually doing something beneficial for me. And even when I managed to do that, after a while, I had no thoughts at all, and it did feel blissful. It was good, but I was still missing this deep connection to myself. This place where I just knew who I was, what was right for me. I could really like talk to myself. That to this part of me that is eternal and always at peace and just undisturbed by the troubles of the world. And that was kind of missing for me. And I only got into that space when I really practiced yoga a lot, when I did a lot of asana and pranayama and all the practices. And mostly it only happened while I did my first yoga teacher training. And then I I was in search of that other missing piece. And then I went to India for the second time to do my second yoga teacher training. And there I met somebody who was a shamanic practitioner, and she told me that she'd been told by her spirit guide to instruct me. And I had had a vision as well for the first time in my life, and really I have never had anything since that. Where I also was told that I would meet my new teacher, my shamanic teacher, in India, and that I was supposed to be a healer. At the time, I was set out to be a writer, and I wanted to, I didn't even want to be a yoga teacher. I just wanted to do it for myself. And then I kind of had this course correction, and shamanism really was that missing piece for me. It was like, wow, on a shamanic journey, I was just instantly connected to me in my brightest, most beautiful form, and I just had access to the whole universe in its energetic layout, and that was incredible to me. It was such a homecoming. It was like, wow. And the next step for me, like I've always been somebody who people gather around who need help and guidance. So obviously my next step was kind of to ask, how can I make this more accessible to others? And I realized that what had happened to me, this real kind of shamanic initiation, is quite rare. Like it doesn't normally happen to people in the Western world that somebody just comes up to them and says, "Hey, I've been told I had to teach you." So I thought, okay, how can I do that? And at that time in Vienna, I was teaching yoga at a gym, and I thought, okay, let's just give this a go. And what I actually did is at that gym with the women who already knew me from teaching yoga, I asked them if they wanted to participate in a little workshop that I called Shamanic Yoga. And what I did is I just sequenced yogic and shamanic practices. So what I did is I first led them through an asana practice like they already knew from doing with me. And then we went into a breathing practice. And from there, I showed them a meditation. And from there, I actually drummed for them. And I didn't do shamanic journeying with them straight away because that would have been way too much. But I did something that I now call a shamanic meditation. So meditation that definitely has shamanic elements, like being feeling carried and supported by Mother Earth and being protected by Father Sky. So these kinds of nature spirits were in that first shamanic meditation that I ever did with somebody else. And the effects on the people were just amazing. And two of these women are actually in this group. Julia and Karina, they were there when it all started. And from there, I just realized that, wow, I had to make this bigger. I had to make this more accessible to many more women. So I knew that I wanted to do it online. I knew that that would be the best way to do that. So I started to create practices. And I was thinking a lot about why this was so powerful to combine these two approaches. And I think that yoga is such an easy entrance point for many into the spiritual realms because we actually work with the body, which is so familiar to us all, and we also work with the breath, which is also quite familiar. And from there, we're guided within quite naturally. And what shamanism provides is to go that step further, where we can actually really very easily enter our heart space and really connect to where we are pure soul, pure consciousness. And with yoga, that definitely also works, but I think it's much more difficult. And shamanism, the missing piece in shamanism is that we don't have movement. And of course, when shamanism originated, people were moving that much in their normal daily lives. They didn't need a yoga practice. But today, in today's life, where we don't have that much time to have this really hour-long yoga practice where we would have everything we need already, we need to kind of concentrate all of that healing and presence and being into a much tighter framework. We don't have that much time. And so I think that the combination between yoga and shamanism is just really unique and very precious. And I just love sharing this with all of you. So what I do now is I sequence the practices like I did in the beginning, because I feel that once we have practiced asana, the yogic body postures, and pranayama, the yogic breathing practices, and meditation, then we're much more open to experience shamanic journeying. And at the same time, after a shamanic journey, when deep healing has happened, we also need to integrate that healing back into all of who we are. And that's where yoga comes in again. When we do the movement and the breathing, this healing becomes part of all of who we are. So it's just perfect. And what I also do is I combine yogic and shamanic elements into practices, and I call them shamanic meditation, shamanic pranayama, and shamanic asana. So it's really about all the core yogic practices are just, I add a shamanic element to it that just makes it easier to become present and to go deep, and for this to be really healing, and most of all to provide this direct access to who we really are deep down. Yes, and this is what I'm sharing with you here. And at the core, what I do is really about being at peace, learning how to be at peace with who you are, and and to discover this unique beauty and power that only you have, and so you can really start to share that with the world, because that's what a fulfilling life is to me, to really know who we are and to love who we are, and then to share that with those around us and really experience ourselves as a gift to the world. Yeah, so for you right now, the first step in here is to really introduce yourself if you haven't done that already. That will help me in supporting you if I know a little bit more about you. And it will also be a great way for you to really step up and say, this is me, just, sharing your truth and finding those who resonate. This is a really powerful network that we have here of, we're all women who care and who are just beautiful and unique. So this is a great network for you as well, that you can fall back on, and if you're in need, and that can inspire you again and again, and where you also can lend support and inspiration. And a second step in here would be to do the shamanic yoga initiation. It's a 3-day process that I've created for you, which will help you to really set an intention for your life. Because if you have an intention, then what you really want to experience can actually come to you. And the other part of that is learning how to let go of what does not serve you anymore. So please take that initiation. You will find it in this welcome post. And if you have any questions at all about what I shared here or about anything else, and if you need help with anything at all, then please don't hesitate to reach out to me. This is what I'm here for and what I'm passionate about, to actually see you blossom and shine and be happy. I'm sending you lots and lots of love and can't wait to get to know you better and to support you in any way that I can. Lots of love.